So when it comes to like a mashup system for a crossover of different personalities, it always doesn't always hash out the way certain creators wanted to create. But I really sincerely enjoyed Creature Commandos, kind of like a foundation setup for Task Force X, or you guys know it as Suicide Squad. It involves a multi-group setup operated by Amanda Waller that gets like monsters over on the DC universe, involving the Bride of Frankenstein, Rick Flag, a special ops or Deadshot, Nina, an aquatic monster, Frankenstein that shows up in the earlier episodes via flashbacks until he's produced as soon as he figures out that he found his bride, Dr. Phosphorus, a walking flaming skeleton that has pyrokinesis powers due to a nuclear accident, due to dealing with some mafia business over trying to find a cure for cancer permanently. All with dealing over in the plot line of World War III attempt with one of the princesses of a foreign land, due to Cersei. Yes, Cersei makes an appearance, telling Amanda Waller of the future plans to possibly commit World War III over manipulating Rick Flag. And over the development of each episode, you get to see different characters go over their backstory, over mutual interactions, or just central behaviors that they had back in their past lives when they were turned into monsters, like Bride literally getting made to be the bride of Frankenstein, but then developed over as soon as she was developing thought, learning, becoming more of a sentient being, built relationships over with the Dr. Frankenstein, and had a relationship with him, built up over the necklace, making love with one another, even though, if you don't know like what Frankenstein is, it's a reanimated corpse. It's a fucking freak. And he made love to that thing. And this is an incredibly mature show. You're going to see sexual exploits, a bit of nudity, with a bit of vulgar behavior. So, mind you, what you guys will see will be wild scenes. Not the boys wild, but as DC can go a bit far up the march, while like Marvel What Ifs would be a bit mature, but kind of grasp over the reality of keeping it still safe, Disney humor-esque. Or Nina, that literally lived. She was born as an infant. She was born with lungs coming out of her chest, bro. Like living in hell, having her father build over a machine to help her breathe until her father experimented on her, turning into a fish girl, and she lived in the sewers because her life sucked. Dr. Phosphorus, after the mafia framed the murder of his family, bro, that was the most well-deserved reason to turn rogue. The coolest way he ended up in prison, because obviously all these people like ended up imprisoned for frame reasons. Phosphorus was obviously a rampage of vengeance and going to a mass killing spree, killing over the mafia until taking it over. And then the Batman, literally the coolest part of his backstory. He had the coolest backstory. Literally having a cool dancing sequence. And then it ended up with the Batman throwing him in a prison where now Amanda Waller. That also tricked bombs in the head like the original Task Force X. And Yeah. Same thing was with 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 Weasel and Sean Gunn. I don't know if he's the brother of James Gunn, the writer of this, and ended up being accused of murder because, of course, its physical, the physical looks of the thing. Not really a mass murderer, just a rabid dog. Like accused of murdering children after a guy thought that he was going to like eat the kids. Ended up causing a fire over a ricocheting bullet, over some alcohol being found, and then it caused a massive fire. Several children were killed. He saved a child, and then the plot over that involved over in the ending that involved in one of the characters' major deaths, and I like the correlation over in the backstory involving over their future development, and then it implements over to the major story. None of it feels somewhat rushed, and you get to know most of why these guys act this way. And I've enjoyed the 7 episodes I watched. The music choices itself was unexpected, fit over in the setting. Over, I think they were in Polskan, like the home of Frankenstein, and Frankenstein's plot line of how he got recuperated after a bride found out that he killed the doctor, like brutally killed him because he was watching her cheeks get clapped by the doctor. Like she's still an animated corpse, literally getting her cheeks clapped, and Frankenstein's watching. That's just a and that was a bride supposed to be made for you, and she gets her cheeks slapped and you're watching. I understand the frustration. Me personally, I would kill him too. But besides that, as soon as they meet again after like centuries apart, and he was like known already as a stalker, gets shot several times and stomped out and spit on after trying to bring up that Rick Flag is still alive. After like a frame of Cersei thinking like it was a fraudulence over the princess's plans, that the country was going to turn over and start a massive riot. Then they were going back over to the country to kill the princess, involving the plot line of her framing over, manipulating Rick Flag to cause lesser conflict over high accusations. Then you get to see Clayface. And just a correlation of all these major characters was very entertaining. My first impressions catch me off guard. I love almost every character. Rick Flag just literally grabbed on that thing over in the princess because she was using her assets to manipulate her. To manipulate him. It was like, this is a very, very mature show. Even majority of the backstories were very insanely gory. Like, my favorite character was G.I. Robot, one of the other parts of the group, a World War II Nazi killing machine that was declined over in popularity over the public, knowing that he is strictly not a media-friendly robot, strictly over a killing machine that was enhanced by a scientist that used an antique as soon as he was part of a neo-Nazi group due to a guy that was on, collected war memorabilia, killed everybody. The funniest reason to get in the prison. And my favorite parts, even though they were tearing people to shreds, the animation for the kills are fucking brutal. And I have friends of mine that are like, will watch certain cartoons just to see the animation, how they kill people. It's insanity. And he even gets a massive upgrade over in the show. And they tease over the second season where Bride gets a new group because they lose a few members over in the ending series due to the princess's actions. And she ends up getting what she deserved at the end. But you'll get to see King Shark again. And I know that's a massive fan favorite for majority of the Suicide Squad history. But yeah, that's practically it for the show. This is 7, and most of these feel like it went quick. It was only 7 episodes, and they accumulated over 23 minutes. It felt like I didn't waste time over the humor of the show. Every character had their own small flashback and coherence and connection on why they joined over the group, so it didn't feel like you were ignoring a character. It's still crazy how Nina, like, she's shown to be a freak, can only move when there's water, doesn't have a stint of fighting ability or experience, so just her having the aquatic advantage in the final episode, just to get shanked several times, gutted like an actual fish, no pun intended, and then she dies, is a bit hilarious to me. I mean, yes, it's a heartbreaker, because of course she was the biggest sweetheart in the show, helping Bride bring over her softer side, even though she is like an isolated freak that has the physical capabilities of Frankenstein, and the biggest badass over in the show. Just for her to lose possibly the person that could break over her soft spot. And then she dies just like that, brutally. That developed over the princess getting shot in the head. Just for that to happen, over a justification and a major character arc, that's going to possibly develop her being more of a leader. Very well-deserved ending over in the show. Phosphorus was fun. Very comedic. This feels like a show that would have been on Adult Swim if it wasn't for, I don't know how much gore would be overly censored. But this was incredibly fun. And this is coming from Max, the Max series, the Max streaming service that had Velma. Please watch this over Velma. I'm supporting this to get a season 2. I enjoyed this heavily, and thank you guys over on the votes. It was great to see the numbers go up and up for this show. I'm giving this a straight 8 out of 10. I incredibly enjoyed the first 7 episodes. We got near 400 votes. 97% of you guys enjoyed this show, and I enjoy it too, guys. 342 of you guys showed a lot of love over on this show. We even got a commenter right there. Even though I'm more of a Marvel fan, but Creatures Commandos was very better than the What If series, season 3. Yeah, so kudos to Creature Commandos, heavily supporting a season 2. I really enjoyed this show. I don't know if the pacing could set up. I hope they go more in depth into Rick Flag, what got him initiated to work with somebody like Amanda Waller. If you don't know her deep history, I think most of you guys recognize her from more of the animated series, especially from Justice League. We know that she's had several spin-offs over in the Suicide Squad. Ignore the anime one. And just a heavily, like, threatened character that brings over a lot of power and can control a lot of pieces without anybody knowing. So we want to get more in depth over in Cooper Flag. And possibly what would be the impact of killing a leader of a country like that. And what other threats are we going to go to. And how they're going to flesh out the newer characters that are part of the Creature Commandos later. So, guys, please watch Creature Commandos. I enjoyed it. I hope you guys enjoy it. I hope you guys have the time to watch it. That's it for me over on the DST show. Like, comment, subscribe for more. That's it for me.